Hey everybody, I'm just working on this feather fill with Echo. Hi Mike, thanks so much, and hi Jeremy. I'm just going to be quilting along here tonight for a little bit, and I might be moving my camera around some. Let me know if it's too shaky. It seems a little shaky tonight, but I can adjust that a little bit. So I'm just going to be working on these bump back feathers and then going back and echoing all around them, and I hope you enjoy. Hey Scott, nice to see you on here. I'm in the part of the quilt right now that's like, I'm about halfway through with this king size quilt, and I'm enjoying it, but it's like I can't wait to get this done. So I'll just keep working away here. Sounds like I need to add a few drops of oil, so I'm going to go ahead and stop for a second and do that. Been going through a lot of bobbins on this quilt. And if you haven't seen any of my pictures on Facebook, this border has some straight line quilting on this light border, some double bubble on the teal, and then a nice big curly feather on the wide border. So we'll be getting to that next. I'll just finish out. I've got a little more feathering. Oh, I've used that double bubble lots and lots and lots of times. And I did it because the fabric on the brown border sort of has little designs on it that are kind of bubbly looking. So I thought it looked good on there. Thanks so much, guys, for the nice comments. And here you can really see that double bubble. And it's not perfect, it's freehand. And I just do my best on those circles. And then same with that straight line quilting. I'm just following the fabric design. And then on these little twister blocks, I am using a ruler. So I put my ruler base on, and then I use a straight ruler, one of the Amanda Murphy rulers. And I really haven't done a whole lot of ruler work, so it's been really great practice on this king size quilt to do that ruler work on there. I am absolutely loving my Bernina. It is so smooth. Every time I quilt on it, I just fall in love with it even more. And I really thought, you know, I just didn't know how it was going to go with switching machines, but I absolutely love it. And I just love the handles that you can move around, and it's just so comfortable. And tomorrow I'm going to be working on my sit-down long arm. I'm working on learning that machine. I've had it put away for a few weeks, but I have it back out, so I'll be working on that tomorrow. I don't know if I did put out a few YouTube videos using my sit-down, but I definitely need some new practice. Oh, you just bought a new long arm too? Awesome. Yeah, the adjustable handles on here are really great. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get back to work here and do some more of these feathers. Finish that echoing, and then we'll head into, we'll have to advance the quilt. I'll do some of this straight line on the border, and I'll advance, and then we'll do some of that border work. Oops, hang on. I unthreaded. It's been good to get some hours on this machine. And it was quite an adjustment to switch over and kind of get the feel for the new long arm. Oh, I was out of bobbin. That was my problem. I already have a couple more already wound, so we're ready to go here in a second. Another thing I love about this machine is the thread is all in the front, so I don't have to walk behind my machine to change my threads. They're right here in the front of the machine, so that's another nice feature. And then I can also wind my bobbins right here in the front of the machine too. I'm just catching up on all your comments. Sometimes I don't see them pop up right away. That's exciting to get new long arm. It really is. And like I said, it's taken a bit to adjust, but no regrets at all. I'm absolutely loving it. Okay, as soon as I get to this spot, I can just go right into that border work with the straight lines. Hi, Laura. You're asking about the throat space. I did just measure it the other day, but we'll do it again here. Clear back. So it's almost just about 18 inches of throat space, which is a little bit less than what I had before on my Gamel. But I kept finding that when I would be quilting way out here as far as I could reach, I would have to roll the quilt back a little bit anyway because it was just too much reaching over, too much bending forward to have enough control. And so now I'm comfortable with this throat space. It's, you know, working out just fine. So I'm just making sure, oops, I have a little bit more echoing to do right in this area, and then we'll be ready to move on to the border area. Another thing about these handles is it works out great for filming. I was really concerned with switching machines too. Like, am I going to be able to film how I want it, you know, to look? And I'm really happy I can have my camera in the front of the machine now because I can attach it to the one handle. And then you guys get a view of, you know, standing in front of the machine instead of the camera being in the back. Hi, Tiffany. Thanks, Lori. I do. And another thing about the camera angle or the camera being in front is I can see what you're seeing. Where before I had to walk around my machine, set the camera up and hope that it was stayed on or hope that it didn't shut off. And sometimes when I was filming for a YouTube video or even for my classes, I had where my phone just shut off randomly and I didn't know it. And so I kept quilting and I didn't realize that it wasn't filming. So now I can make sure that it's filming at all times. And then it's great on the live like this. I can see your comments popping up. And let me know if you have any questions and I'll just keep going. Thanks, Jeremy. I got a new light too, which I really like. Okay, so right now I'm using this for my camera mount. It's like this octopus arm thing, and you can bend it around kind of any object. It's like this flexible thing, and so I can wrap it around wherever I want to, and it holds my camera there. I tried using a car phone holder. That's what I was using on my Gamel, but it really doesn't work on here. The underneath part of the arm of this Bernina is angled. And I did do a couple videos from that angle back there, but I just love it from the front so much better. I haven't tried the bicycle mount. And yeah, you guys are witnessing my first live YouTube, so kind of fun. I've done a couple on my Facebook page, but decided to go ahead and do one here on YouTube. And this machine is so light too. It's just really great. Yeah, I have the Q24 Bernina, and then I also got the Q16 sit-down machine. So I'm using it and working on learning it so that I can also offer my online classes to those who are using a sit-down machine. And I don't know that those are going to start until maybe January. It just depends on how much time I get to practice on the sit-down. But I have a whole bunch of quilt tops, charity tops ready to practice on. And I did not get any computerized components on the Q24. It's all still just freehand. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know that that's just what I absolutely love. I have had a couple thread breaks, and I was on a live the other day and I said that I probably needed to change my needle, and I never did that. I don't know, sometimes I just get so into the quilting that I just forget. Thanks, Tina. That is probably what I miss most about my gamble, is the pink camo wrap. That was really awesome. I loved having that. But no regrets here. I might miss the camo wrap a little bit, but I absolutely love this machine. Seeing a couple questions here. I'm in Pennsylvania, Slipper Rock, PA. And also I'm using Isocord thread. Whenever I bought the Q24, there was this amazing bundle deal at the event that I went to when I bought this machine. And one of the things in the bundle deal was 40 spools of Isocord thread. And so that's what I've been using on this machine. I tried Omni a little bit, but I think I need to change the tension when I switch to Omni, and I just haven't, been messing with thread too much. So using the Isocord. Yeah, I know, the 40 spools, it's this huge box in like every color you could imagine. Also, when I bought this Q24, I got a free Bernina sewing machine, the 475. And I've never had a Bernina anything, so this has been such an awesome experience, and I'm loving each machine. I've barely got to use my 475. Oh, just because I've got so much going on. So I can't wait to actually do some piecing on my sewing machine. I fixed a pair of my daughter's shorts, and that's about all I've done on it. And there was even more in that bundle deal. It was outstanding. All right, I think I'm pretty much ready to advance the quilt. So I'm just going to tie off here. I do have some glide thread. I have not used it on this machine yet. I had some trouble using it on the Gamel, I think just because I didn't mess with it enough. But one of these days I'll try glide thread on here. This is only my third quilt on my Q24. I did that small wall hanging that had the snowmen. And then I did that one custom quilt. A couple videos on that on my YouTube channel. And then this king size, which is my own quilt. I'm very excited to be getting that done and on here. Hang with me for a minute. I know it's kind of dark in here. I'm going to advance this quilt, and we'll change out the thread, and I'll do these borders a little bit. I don't float my tops, I pin them top and bottom. I do like variegated thread. It really just depends on the quilt and if it's appropriate. I really like playing with the variegated thread if I'm using a real plain fabric, and it's going to show up great. So To me, it just has to be the right quilt to use a variegated. If it's a, I don't know, it really just depends. Get my sides clipped here. And I'm going to baste down the side. Still need to fix my bobbin. I normally use the Omni V variegated thread. And I don't know where all you guys are tuning in from tonight, but here it's about, wow, it's almost 12:30 in the morning. But I am a late night quilter. I'm not a morning person at all. And my husband works really crazy hours, so he does road construction, and a lot of times we'll hang out together for a couple hours in the evening, and then he goes to bed early, so then I come out here and quilt. I took a really nice nap this evening too, so I'm ready to go. And there is a basting stitch on here. Anytime you see these red lights in any of my videos, that means I'm using the regulated mode. And this also, you see these lights when I'm doing the basting stitch. That's the system for the regulator. Okay, so we've got Pacific Northwest, Iowa, Oregon. So it's a little earlier out there for you guys. Arizona. All right, let me get my light moved over. Oklahoma. And you know, I am not a perfectionist. My quilting is not perfect, but I really enjoy it, and I love free motion. If I wanted it perfect, I definitely would have gone with a computerized system, but I enjoy the creativity part and just having freedom to do what I want. I don't do a whole lot of measuring or marking. I just really love the freehand. So let's see how we do on these double bubbles on this border. And I have been working in manual mode, and my speed is 1340. I've been playing around with different speeds in the manual mode, and that's kind of where I landed at today. Thanks, Sandra. Yes, I definitely have the whole like filing system in my brain of designs, but always excited to add new ones to it. And here I am trying to leave, you know, this 1/4 inch space on this side for my binding to go on, but I'm just eyeballing it. I doubt this is going to go in any kind of show. This is for on my bed to love and enjoy and Right now I have 3 different quilts that I rotate on my bed, and I can't wait to add this one. And I also have a Jacob's Ladder quilt. The Jacob's Ladder is all in batiks with jewel tones, and then it has this yellowy background. So I'd love to get that one done this year as well. Oh, thank you, Jeremy. Hi to Nancy in Minnesota. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. It's been a little lonely down here in the quilt room, working on this. I was listening to an audiobook, which really does help. Okay, Mike, have a great night. Hi, Kathy. So I don't have a whole lot of really custom quilting on my own quilts just because I haven't taken the time to do it. I love the custom quilting. My husband prefers the dense quilting. So when he saw what I was doing, he was like, oh, that looks really great. You know, he really liked it. So a lot of my own quilts were quilted like years ago, or I was just hurrying up to get something done in between customer quilts. And so this one I wanted to take a little bit more time on and do some custom work. I'm going to stop there because I don't know if I have room to do one more or not. Oh. If you hold the button too long, it wants to do a tie-off stitch, and that's what I did. Okay, we'll do this other row of double bubbles. Anyone else working on their long arm tonight? Are you working on any customer quilts? Are you working on your own quilts? What all do you guys have going on? Oh, Tiffany, oh, I hope you recover well. Surgery anytime is just no fun at all. I've had 2 knee surgeries. I tore my ACL in both knees, 5 years apart, so yeah, surgery is no fun. And Jeremy did just finish a beautiful baby quilt. I absolutely loved it. I saw lots of pictures of that. And Tiffany, kudos to you for quilting on your domestic. I did that so many years ago. Just straight line quilting, nothing custom. I'm glad you're getting some hand sewing in, Tiffany. Ooh, binding a Jacob's ladder. Awesome. All right, for this feather, I do the big curl first, and then I'll go back and do the feathering, and then when we move to the other side to finish the other border, you'll see how I do it. So I'll go ahead and do my curls, and then I'll go back to the beginning up here and fill in all the feathers. So here go my curls. I'll just kind of end it there. I could just travel back up the spine if I wanted to, but I'm just going to tie off down here instead. And I'll go back up. I really do think I need to change my needle because it's doing that kind of snappy sound. So maybe next time my bobbin runs out, I will change my needle. Can you guys see okay? Can you let me know if you are able to see the stitching well? Trying to get my light adjusted okay here. I probably should change my needle a little more often. Like I said, I'm just not great at remembering that, but I am hearing that noise. If I do hear that, then I do get it switched out. And then on this machine, I do oil pretty much every bobbin change. And it sounds a little different whenever you're quilting along. It just gets a little bit noisier. And then I know to just put a drop of oil in there, and then it's smooth sailing again. So let me ask a question. How many of you have taken one of my classes or have tried the free butterfly class? So let me know in the comments if you guys have done any of my online courses. Okay, this feather is all done for this row. Yes, Jeremy, thank you so much. And you are doing an amazing job. Your quilting is blowing me away. Okay, I'm moving to the other side. It's a long way over here. This quilt is a little bit longer than it is wide. So I loaded it this skinnier way because otherwise it would have completely maxed out. And I didn't want to max out I wanted to have room for my clips on the side. And baste real quick. Thanks for watching the videos, Tiffany. This feather that I'm doing on this wide border is taught in my intermediate feather course. If you're interested at all, if you haven't gone to my site just to look through the courses, be sure and do that. Each course has its own little sales page, and you know, I'm always available if you need to ask any kind of questions. You can always email me or comment in my YouTube videos. I'm glad you love the butterfly course. Yes, Jeremy's doing awesome. And thanks, Tina, so much for watching. Can fit one more of these on here. Thanks so much, Scott, for coming on. Great to hear from you. Hope you have a great night. Now when I do this feather, so it's going up. The flow of this feather is going up. And there's a couple different ways you could do the spine on this. You could draw it in with chalk so that you could start, you know, down here, chalk it out so it all, you know, is filled out evenly. Or you can do it this way. I kind of do it backwards. And I'm going to show you how I do that. I am just starting at the end of my stitching line here. And I'll show you how I do sort of this backward method of making curls. So this curl up here is curling to the left. Then this curl that's going in this area should be curling to the right. So I will show you how I'm going to do that. Oops, broke thread again. I don't know if sometimes I am moving too fast for the manual speed that I have set, and that's why this happens. I'm not quite sure yet. I am really thinking I need to put a new needle in too. Yeah, going live, it's always an iffy thing. That's why I'm like, but you know what? It's just what happens. It's real life. And it hasn't been a major problem for me. And I am still learning the machine. And like I said, I think then maybe a new needle would help that. But anyway, so I'm in the middle of this curl. And I'm going to keep going here. So you can see how I kind of did this reverse method of doing my curls, and now I can just leave my needle in right here and start doing my feathering. And be sure and let me know if you'd like to see more live videos, and I can try to get on here a little more often. is all done. I do know a lot of people that take their quilt off and turn it and do their borders that way, but I've always just connected them as I go. To me, it's so much more work to take it off and turn it. I did try it one time. One time I tried it and I just felt like I had weird puckers, and to me it was just a giant headache. So I've just figured out ways to keep the border going as I advance the quilt and make it work. All right, so those who have been with me here for this process, you got to see me do these feathers with all of the echoing. I'm glad you guys are liking the live. I'll definitely keep doing my pre-recorded videos. Those are my favorite, but the lives are fun too, because then I get to talk to everybody. And you can see how we did this double bubble and the feather. And the other day I had finished doing, a section of border. I was ready to start on my background fill, and so I put my top thread, switched my top thread to the light, but then I thought I forgot to switch my bobbin thread, and I had done a whole little section, and I just about panicked, but I went and checked, and here I had put my light bobbin thread in, so I was so thankful. It's like the worst thing to have to rip out. And you can see my quilt is like got some fullness in it. So all this on point stuff. But doing that feather fill, it really just takes in all that extra, and it has been laying really nice. You can see a bunch of that quilting up there. You can see the back of my ruler work that I did. And you know what, we can do that real quick. I could do, since I have my dark thread in, I can go ahead and do at least one or two of these blocks with the ruler. And just to show you how big this quilt is. Thanks, Debbie, and thanks, Heather. So here is how big this quilt is. And it's even longer than it is wide. This is the wide way, or I mean the skinniest way, and then the longest way, you can see my batting hanging down there. Right now I'm using Warm and Natural on this because I have a giant roll, and I'll show you I got a disaster going on in my room right here. But up here I've got my 120-inch Warm and Natural, and then the 90-inch Warm and White. So I've got those up there. And I'm just a real person, you guys. I've got messiness happening. This is that box of thread. So all of this isocord thread, there's like every color you could imagine. I don't even have a shelf to put it on yet. So I've just been grabbing it out of the box, and it's amazing. There's so much there. My husband helped me get my Q16 set up tonight, and I will be hopefully working on that tomorrow. I have a little quilt sandwich ready already. And then I'd like to get a baby quilt done on that Q16 as well. So here we are. If you guys want to hang out a little bit longer, I'm going to stick the what am I trying to say? I'm going to put the ruler base on. And we'll do a little bit of ruler work. Another reason I need to have room on the sides is so that, because this is clear at the edge right here, and you can see my backing comes out this far, but I do need to be able to get in here and oil my machine and switch out threads and stuff. So here is my ruler base going on. So you just slide it in and snap it on. So that's my ruler base on. It's clear. It's this clear plastic. Super easy to get on and off. And so my machine, my long arm is the Q24, which means 24 inches from needle to the back of the machine, but I have about 18 inches of quilting space. All right, so here's the block I'll work on. Now, since this is my own quilt, I'm not into entering into any big shows or anything like that. So I'm not burying my threads. I'm just tying off. And this is the ruler I'm using. And I need to switch out my foot, which is super easy. There's this little flippy thing in the back. You push it, the foot comes right off. And then here is my ruler foot. So it has this high lip on it so that you won't run over your rulers. And that's how quick and easy that foot change is. So I just pick a random spot on one of my blocks to start, and it's a 1/4 inch. If I line up the edge of my foot with the edge of the fabric, that gives me a 1/4 inch space. So I'm just gonna start wherever I want to, and then I just line up my ruler with the edge. Oh yeah, the quick change feet is outstanding. I mean, in seconds you can put a different foot on. And I have this spoon foot, or a couching foot that I haven't even got out of the package yet. And then I also have this other stitch plate, and you can use a twin needle on this long arm if you want to. So that's another thing I need to play with at some point. I really do want to do the couching. I think that would be really fun. All right, so here's my ruler. I have it against the side of my foot, and I'm just lining it up with the edge, like on the seam line of my block. And I am going to put it in regulated mode on BSR2. And when I do that and I stop moving the machine, it stops stitching. And when I move the machine, it starts stitching again. Sorry if I bump into my little bendy phone holder. And I am not an expert at ruler work, especially while filming because my handle is in the way a little bit. But this quilt has really helped me get better at it, so I'm thankful for that. Alright, so there's one of my little blocks done, or little sections done. And on my gamel, it basically had this type of foot on it, and I never got any other type of foot. So when I got the Bernina and the regular stitching foot looks like this, it's like really skinny and you can see really well. This type of foot is a little bit harder to see if you're doing feathers or intricate work. So this other foot, I don't know what it's called, but it's the one that comes for your main, you know, long arm quilting on there. It's just like almost like this finesse feel, like you can really do the intricate stuff and really see what you're doing. So how many of you guys are doing a lot of ruler work? Is that something you guys like? I need to advance my quilt up a little bit with that ruler plate on. I need to move it up just a little bit more. Hang on. All right, let's see if that's enough room. I just needed a little bit more room. Sorry, I missed a few of the comments. Let me go check real quick. They pop up on my phone screen, but only for a second. Okay, so we've got quite a few that really like using the rulers. And that's something that I am really learning more about. And whenever I bought my machine, that was another thing that was in the bundle deal, was 4 sets of the Amanda Murphy rulers. So I got the heart set, the star set, curved set, I did buy this straight one. I forget what the other set was. Oh, circles. It was the circle set. But even for this very simple design, it took me a couple blocks before I was like, I felt like I knew what I was doing. Because you have to go past where you want to be. But it's coming along for sure. And stitching the ditch is just like, I avoid it like the plague. If I don't have to, I don't do it. I just think it's so hard to make it look nice. Some people were adamant about stitching everything in the ditch, and that's just not me. It's not my personal preference. I still might do a separate YouTube video just of the ruler work on this quilt, because this live is really getting long. We're at 1 hour and 20 minutes. But this has been really fun, getting to talk with everybody. The Amanda Murphy rulers are really nice. You do want to make sure you have the right shank foot. And on the Bernina, you have this, so you can see right now, I'm not going to touch any buttons, but I'm going to show you, right now my foot is up in the air, and look, I can slide my ruler underneath. So before I start stitching with the ruler, I need to make sure my foot is down, and there's a button for that. So there, the button, or the foot is down, and you can see my ruler can't go under now. But if the foot is up like that, then you can see how I can slide it under. And you don't want that to happen, because if you have your ruler too close and your foot is clear up in the air and your ruler is under there at all and you put your foot down, it will cause problems. So you do want to make sure that you have your foot down in the down position before you get your ruler anywhere near it. And thanks guys for chiming in. I don't have a whole lot of experience yet, but I'm getting there. I'm working on getting more and more comfortable with the rulers and just with this machine in general, because it has been a big change. But I couldn't be any happier than I am with this machine. I still am not to where I can see my final border showing on my bottom rail down there, but it's getting close. I'm pretty sure I'm over halfway. I'm thinking I'm more like about 2/3 of the way done with this quilt. And I do like the look of ruler work. I don't know that I could get into doing a ton of it, like on an entire quilt where you're using rulers for everything, but we'll see. This seems just about perfect to me, like a little bit of ruler work and then just set me loose on the free motion feathers. And I do really like the contrast of the ruler work against that feather fill background. I think it just helps the blocks to stand out a little bit. Let me go check the comments here 1 second. Okay, so someone mentioned how, yeah, I've got a lot of like loosey-goosey fabric over here, but that's how my whole quilt has been. And I will tell you guys right now, I'm probably never teaching a class on piecing. You know, we all have our strengths and we all have our weaknesses. I am not the best piecer in the world. I love free motion quilting. I do love piecing too, but I can't say that I'm the best at it. So yes, this quilt does have some fullness. Look at all this fullness here. But the quilting that I've done with all that echoing around those feathers, it has really sucked up all that extra fullness. So it doesn't scare me at all. It's working out really nice with that design with the echoed feathers. And anytime I can do quilting without marking anything That's also another favorite thing of mine. I really love the freedom to just let it flow and not spend a lot of extra time marking and planning but that's just my style. There's some people that will spend days, weeks planning out an entire quilt design, and that's their thing, and that's great. I mean, everyone's got different skills and different ideas and different methods of their quilting. And it'd be a pretty boring world if we all did exactly the same thing on every single quilt. So do what works for you. And I just hope to inspire you guys. And, you know, don't be afraid to try something new. I'm always learning all the time. And I get excited when I get the opportunity to quilt something custom. And many of you know I'm not quilting for customers anymore, except for the ladies in my guild. And that's only a couple ladies. But I have a whole stack of my own quilt tops that need done. And between my online courses and just life in general, it keeps me super busy. I was so excited this week. On Monday and Tuesday, I was able to get out and take the kayaks out with two different friends, one on Monday and one on Tuesday, to do some kayak fishing. And it was absolutely beautiful out. So here we go. These are the two blocks we just did our ruler work on. I'm really happy with that simpleness of the quilting on that block. And you can see up here all that feathering. And I know this might make you a little nervous, all this fullness, but it's going to all be awesome. And all this feathering and tight echoing is just gonna eliminate all that fullness. And I'm gonna undo this a little bit so you guys can see. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. I want you guys to see the quilting that I've done. So I'm just gonna unroll this a little bit. And you can see how all that fullness has been just eliminated up in here. Isn't this just awesome? I just love this. All these feathers just twisting and turning around. And, you know, all around these blocks, I kept it really nice and tight as far as the echoing goes. And I think that really helps the block stand out too. And this was my vision when I made this quilt top. I really don't know how many years ago it was. It could have been 7 or 8. I really don't know. A friend of mine bought me all these charm packs for this little twister block. And it's been a long time ago. I really don't remember when. I'd have to look way back through pictures. But you can see how much of this quilt I do have done already. Like I said, I think I'm probably about 2/3 of the way done. Really get in there so you can see all that feathering. So thanks guys for hanging out with me tonight. It's been great to get to chat a little bit. And thank you so much for all your comments and for sharing my videos. And hey, thanks, Kathy. Yes, that fullness is just going to disappear once I get all the feathers and echoing done. And I'm just really enjoying this. It's so not stressful because it's my own quilt. So it's just very enjoyable. And I can't wait till it's done. Like, I'm really getting kind of anxious to get it completely finished and bind it and get it on my bed. So you're welcome, Tiffany and Deborah. Thank you guys so much for joining. Kathy, everyone who is on here, really appreciate it. I really do love sharing with you guys, and if you really do enjoy my YouTube videos, please go and check out my online courses. There's so much good information there. If you are struggling with your feathers at all, please go and check out my beginner feather course. And I think it will help tremendously. I've had so many students that have had great success after taking that course. And the feather in this brown border, like I said, is taught on the intermediate feather course. But I don't know what it is about feathers. I'm in love with them. And then you can see how I added these little curly Q things kind of at the tips of some of these. And you can see here, like, this is how I ended that feather, and when I do the next row, I'll just come in and fill that in the rest of the way. And it's like no stress. I don't need to add stress to my life. I've got plenty of that. So this to me has been very relaxing. I'll be doing some of my sit-down quilting tomorrow and probably into next week a little bit, and then in June I'll be working on my next course. Thank you so much, Karen. I know that you're going to absolutely love the beginner feather course, and in that course I do a whole section on troubleshooting. So I had some students send me their pictures of their feathers before they took the course, and we do a whole section on troubleshooting. So if your feather looks like this, then this is what you need to do to fix it. And so, yeah, you're going to love it. Thanks, Kathy. So glad you've been here to hang out in the live. And I understand about time. It can be very time consuming to learn new designs. But even like the feather course, if you're already doing feathers, but you know, they're just not exactly turning out the way that you want, there's just some great tips in there that can really help. Yeah, so in here, it's all just echoed. You can see how it is very dense. Some people don't like dense quilting, and that's fine. But I really wanted the feathers to stand out, and so I just echoed and echoed and echoed all around my feather to really make them stand out nicely. Oh, I can't wait until this is done. I'm getting really excited now that I kind of unrolled it here and can see more than just the row that I'm working on. I'm just so happy with how that's turning out. And does anyone else have any more questions for me before I say goodnight? I think it's time for me to get a shower and head to bed here. Yeah, in June I will be creating my next course, which is called Feathers and Shapes. So we're going to be fitting all types of feathers into all types of shapes. So especially if you have like those big setting triangles in a quilt, I'm going to show some ways to make a feather fit and kind of my opinions there on sometimes feathers can get way too big. And so ways that you can fit your feather in without having like 12-inch long plumes and things like that. So that will be in the works in June. And then if anyone out there has one of the Dream Big panels that's been sitting in your closet needing to be quilted, I'm going to do a quilt along and offer it as one of my classes. And I'll basically be videoing everything from start to finish, from loading that to, you know, deciding what we're going to put on it and just quilting it start to finish. So that is also going to be available probably in the second half of June. And that is going to be something new that I'll be offering on my site, are some quilt-alongs. Probably just 2 or 3 of those this year. And if it goes over well, then we'll keep adding more of those next year. And this is my new light that I got too. It's great. You can twist and turn and put it wherever you want. Have a great night, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. And I'll be doing some more lives, it looks like. You guys have been great. It's been nice to get to chat with you. Thank you so much, Deborah. Good night, Tina. Good night, everybody. I hope you have a great night. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Be watching for more of my YouTube videos coming up. And I just thank you so much for all your support. And I will sign off and talk to you guys later. Have a great night.